somewhere between $400 to $500 per day is absolutely achievable. As a franchisor, I will pay you to go and mow another customer's or a potential customer's property, and it won't cost that customer anything. I will pay you for doing that work. You will then showcase your skills, not just to that customer, but to other people in the area as a way of being able to build up your business. Simon Jenkins, and I've been with Jim's for 15 years. I got made redundant from a corporate job, and I was looking around as to what I wanted to do. And I'd always had in my mind, I wanted to have my own business. And I was looking around at all sorts of different things, and I looked at all sorts of different franchises as well. And I decided, obviously, on Jim's Mowing. And there are a couple of reasons for that. The first one was, I believe, and I still do, that with Jim's Mowing, you can scale it up. You can put other vehicles on the road, you can have employees working for you. Much easier to be able to do that through Jim's Mowing in terms of that, because you can teach people what they need to be able to know and how they need to be able to do it, and so you can scale that up. The other one was non-exclusive territories, which is it's a bit hard to get your head around, but once you understand it, it really is fantastic. And what a non-exclusive territory means is you can work anywhere, in my case in Sydney. It doesn't matter, I can have customers wherever it is that works for myself. I'm not limited to just being in a single territory or in a single area. I can work wherever it is that I want to be able to work. But I can also condense that down to a smaller area. So that was a large part. And the fact that there is no cut of turnover was the other big one, is that it's a monthly fee, you know how much you're up for. Doesn't matter whether you've got just by yourself, you've got an employee with you, or you've got multiple people, it's still the same monthly fee. So that I had the ability of being able to grow the business as I wanted to, and I also had plenty of support available from a team. In my case, it was at Castle Hill. I guess the thing about running a business for 15 years is you really get to know your customers. I've had customers for 15 years. I picked them up as part of the Jim's group, and I've had those customers for 15 years. I've seen their kids grow up. I've even employed family members of some of my customers who've been with them for ages. You feel part of a community. So I'm driving around my local area, people are waving to me, all that sort of stuff, whether I'm in my branded vehicle or I'm not. Drives my wife nuts, because she goes, "Who is that? Who is that?" And I said, "Well, that's one of our customers." So you really become part of a local community, and you're well known, and people trust you for advice. So I've got a list of local tradespeople that I can recommend to people who, when they need it, because they'll call me up and ask me first. So it's being in for that length of time, you are well known in the area. It's a business. You're starting a new business, all right? You need to be 100% on it, and different people will have different reasons for being able to do it or not do it. And it's a tricky question to answer. But what I would suggest, if you've got partners that are unsure or advisors that are unsure, get them to meet with one of the franchisors. Ask the questions directly, right? Because partners always have a different set of questions to the person with the franchisee, and they are important questions because it is going to be a family business. Whether you like it or not, your family are going to be involved with the business one way or the other. Just as when you come home and whinge about the boss in your current environment, you're going to come home and whinge about customers in this environment. So it's well worth bringing them in and having them talk about what their concerns are, and so we can address those. Yeah, certainly. So look, the base level is $1,500 per week, a guaranteed. Well, guaranteed income's not quite work. We will give you $1,500 worth of work in any given week. So as an example, if you end up with $1,100 worth of your own paid work, as a franchisor, I will pay you to go and mow another customer's or a potential customer's property, and it won't cost that customer anything. I will pay you for doing that work. You will then showcase your skills, not just to that customer, but to other people in the area as a way of being able to build up your business. It's a wonderful security blanket out there, The vast majority of the time it's not needed because we generate sufficient customers for you to be able to earn that level of income. However, it is there as a safety mechanism or a fallback. I think about all the different jobs in corporate I had over the years. There is no other training that I've ever done that at the start says, here you are for 6 days in Melbourne with an intensive on the gyms system and then on mowing as part of that. It is a fantastic training. It will teach you how to be able to run a business. Only problem with it is it's all in that 6 day time frame, but your franchisors have been there, they've done it, and can help you when you go, I just remember this bit, or I'm going to help with that. You can come to us because with your franchisors, you've got a lifetime of your franchisee of support from a franchisor. It doesn't stop after the first 6 months. For the lifetime of your franchise, you've got franchisor support and you've got support from a range of different franchisors. If your franchisor doesn't know the answer, they will find one of us who does. You get access to the Gyms brand. Ultimately, with your fees, that is what you are paying for. You're getting access to Gyms Mowing and that brand. That's ultimately what it is. Look, it's broken up into different aspects, but there are two key things part of it. There is the dedicated advertising levy. The advertising levy is purely and simply of finding new customers for our franchisees. It is dedicated to nothing but that particular thing. But the rest of the fees, look, there's just different things, but ultimately you're getting access to the Gyms Mowing brand and everything that goes with that, right? So you go into someone's place, you've half won the business already because they know that there is a well-known brand that's supporting behind it. It's not just somebody who walks in off the street and gives them a business card or a flyer or puts an ad on any of the other networking sites. These are people who go, yep, I know that brand and I know it. Remember, we are in people's homes. This is not someone coming to your workplace and being able to do it. We are coming into people's homes. They need to feel safe, secure and trustworthy. Yeah, so in terms of the earning capacity, look, it's a little bit like a piece of string, and it is dependent on how much effort and work you put into it. It's not just you can't just sit back there and say, oh, these leads come in and then I can put whatever price I want to it and be able to do it. You have to work at your business. You need to build regular customers so that you've got a regular base of income throughout the year. I talk about how much that you can earn in a day. Look, it varies. When someone's starting out, I always talk to people, budget $400 to $500 in income per day. Where can it go from there? Look, it can go anywhere. My minimum, I'm looking at $850 a day. Right? That's what my personal minimum that I look at to be able to go out and break even on any given day. But I have days where it's much higher than that and it's much lower than that. But I always talk to people, budget in that first 6 months at that somewhere between $400 to $500 per day is absolutely achievable, which is $2,500 a year. And I can't remember how much that is per annum off the top of my head, I'm sorry. Look, there's a few guys who have done exceptionally well. I've got a couple of different franchisees, again, who've been in it for long periods of time, and whose kids are now at the age where they're now starting to take an interest and take over into the business. I've got three of my franchisees that have been in for over 10 years that are exactly going down that path. I've got another franchisee who has got multiple vehicles on the road, and he spends most of his time now quoting, supervising and making sure that the quality is there, as opposed to doing the work day in, day out. And then I've got other guys who have started on their own and are now at the point where they're looking to employ staff. Probably one of our best success stories is a guy who started 6 years ago. Started his business, put everything into getting his business. His goal was after 5 years to buy a house in Sydney, and he was successful. 6 months over, but that's not a bad effort to be able to buy a house in Sydney, starting from scratch with a business, getting it up and running, and being able to buy a house in Sydney. So it's a risk, right? you're starting a business. It's a risk. The money's there, the system is there, the customers are there. It's just a matter of when each person is ready to take that leap. And I've always believed that there's no point tricking someone into it or rushing them into making a decision. They have to make a decision that works for themselves, right? So they need to be 100% comfortable and committed. I guess ask questions about it. Go and do a trial day. Go and do 2 trial days. Go and speak to different franchisees for a day and see what it's like. It's only that. When you're ready, you'll make the decision to be able to do it.